Greetings. Welcome to today's Multiple Literacies Lab presentation. The topic is Tools and Tips for Creating Dynamic Online Tutorials. So, my name is Daniela Smith and I've been at UNT for the past 10 years. I'm an associate professor here. I'm also the associate director of our PhD program. I can't believe it, but I've been a librarian for 19 years. I specialize in school librarianship, but I've worked in an academic library. I've also worked in public libraries. I started off as a public librarian in youth services. I blog for AASL. I'm also one of the AASL chairs for one of their sections. I'm also a counselor at large for ALA. But the section that I am the chair for AASL is the Educators of School Librarians section. So tonight's presentation, I'm just going to discuss the reasons why we need to offer professional development. I'm going to share ideas for helping teachers with professional development and also share strategies for providing effective professional development. So a lot of school librarians might be thinking, if they're really old school and they're focusing just on the reading as a proponent of being a school librarian, why in the world do I need to offer professional development? Well, the first answer that I would give is that when you offer professional development, it challenges you to learn. And if you are learning, so is your school community. So I have a question for you, and feel free to unmute yourself and chime in or just type in the chat box. Where do you get your professional development? I mean, obviously, you're in school right now, but where do you get your professional development if you're not in school?
TCEA.
Okay, I love TCEA. I recently did their ISTE certification workshop. Yes, what was the next person? I have a few responses. I got my professional development from the district or from professional organizations, correct? These days, I get it from YouTube and blogs. Okay. And then Shelley Craig says conferences like CAST and CAMT. Would you mind telling us more about what CAST and CAMT are, please? If you don't mind, just type it down or say it verbally.
CAST is the Conference for the Advancement of Science Teaching, and CAMT is the same thing but with mathematics teaching.
Nice. And you know, as a school librarian, many of us went off in different areas for teaching, right? Because in Texas, you have to teach for 2 years first. I started off in social studies, so I might have gone to a social studies conference. One thing that really helps us as school librarians is having that connection and empathy often for understanding what it was to be a classroom teacher. And as you get your foot into the door with your new school communities, as you become a school librarian, you can continue to make the connection with the person that is similar to you and interest, and then just branch out. It might be easier for you that way. But I feel like it doesn't hurt also to go to the professional development and some of the conferences if you have the money or if they're online for free for the subject areas, because you still have to be able to make the connections. So thank you for sharing that. Ms. Urban says she gets it from the school district, UNT. looking at YouTube, Vicki Davis Cool Cat Teacher, yes, and the 10-Minute Teacher podcast. And there's also our regional educational centers. So Ms. Litkin says that she goes to hers. And don't forget, TLA has regional centers too, that region has regional districts that you can rely on. So, like I said, I write for AASL, and I do go through various professional development opportunities that are offered. In fact, I write about them once a month, just different things that I find. And this is mine from my list on AASL. These are some of the places that you can look for professional development. So there's so much out there, and there's nothing wrong with you looking at some professional development that's offered by another organization and then adapting it. You don't ever want to copy somebody else's work, but you can take the ideas and create something new of your own that is specific for your school district. Because remember, school districts have missions and visions, and your library will too. So if there's something good, say at OCLC Web Junction, or the Library of Congress has some good information about how to use nonfiction resources or primary resources, then go ahead and adapt it and teach your teachers about it, and make sure to let them know that I got this from this area. There's also several educational technology websites that you can go and look at for your professional development. And I wrote a blog about this. So there's Class Tech Tips. I love Colleen Graves' work, Education World, Edudemic. Just so you know, I'm great at slaughtering words and I don't mean to. EdTech for beginners, emerging EdTech, free technology for teachers. And don't forget to go to the ISTE blog as well. Just in case you didn't notice, the AASL standards are crosswalked. So they're crosswalked with the ISTE standards. So if you're wondering where all of these things in together, then you can indeed use the ISTE standards and see a clear path to the AASL standards. And many states crosswalk with AASL as well. Yes, so does someone have a question? I heard someone talking. No? Okay. If you could, all I need you to take a moment and I'll look and see where that might be coming from. But take a moment and mute yourselves. Okay. Next, journals for professional development also give you a great clue about different topics that you can be talking about. Like, what are the hottest trends? Knowledge Quest is great for that. There's School Library Research if you want to blend professional practices with the research. There's School Library Connection, that's also similar to Knowledge Quest, and Teacher Librarian as well. Even though it's peer reviewed, it's very practical in nature. School Libraries Worldwide, Voya. I'm not going to read the whole list, but you can see all of the resources that are available for you. And if you have access to the database at your local college or at your local public library, you can get into many of these journals. In addition, they also have free articles that they think are pertinent to current issues available. So the whole thing might not be available, but different current issues may be available on their websites. I like looking at social media. I do have a social media account, but I'm also like a creeper. So I use it for professional development. And in addition to that, I also use it for research. But a lot of people don't know that AASL has a hashtag bank. that you can use. So make sure that you check that out, and they have it divided by different categories. Also, a way to make it easier for you to figure out what's going on with a particular hashtag is to mine the hashtag. And there are two websites that I like to use for doing that. First, there's Hootsuite. That has like limited free accessibility, but I do like it, what they have for free. What it lets you do is automate your social media behaviors, and so does the next website. So you can go in and program the website with a particular hashtag that you're interested in, and then it will grab all the information, or like a lot of the information for that particular hashtag, and put it in your website. So that's what happens for Hootsuite. You go to your Hootsuite page and you'll see the hashtags that you search for, and the different hashtags that have come up. Then there's If This Then That. You can program a lot of things with If This Then That, including your house. But the thing that I'm most interested in is grabbing different tweets about topics. So sometimes if I find that there's a hot topic about a subject, and I want to read what's being said on social media, then I can go into If This Then That, because I don't want to spend all my time looking at the computer screen. And then I will program it to gather all of that information into a spreadsheet for me. Another website that you can use is Scoop.it. I think Scoop.it's kind of cool. I use the free version, but what you can do is also program it to look for information online about different topics that you're interested in. And then if you are so inclined, you can actually publish that page for other people to look at. So it's a way of doing curation, but easily doing the curation and sharing it. So professional development for teachers. So you have to be able to research opportunities. So I already told you about professional journals that you can look at. Just don't look at the ones pertinent to school librarians. Look at the journals that are relevant for teachers, and then take some of those tips that you find there and integrate them into the way that you offer services. You can talk to your principal. 9 times out of 10, your principal is going to need something, and you are going to be the person, or you want to be the person that gives it to them, right? You don't want them coming to you all the time. You need to go to them. And when you go, make sure that it's very constructive, because you don't want to waste time. Do observations. See what people are having problems with. Go down to the break room. See what they're complaining about. And if there's any way that you can make professional development based off of those things that are causing the most issues for them, then just go ahead and get that done. Is there new software that's going to have to be implemented, and everybody is wondering how in the world are we going to implement this and make it relevant to our subject area? Then you're going to want to be that person who provides that information. Also, you can take requests. So do surveys, have a Dropbox in the library. Some people are ashamed, or they just don't feel comfortable. They just don't feel comfortable with asking a question directly. So let them have a Dropbox. That's anonymous. You can also take verbal requests. Additional ideas. Go to the school district technology leader and ask them what needs to be done. If you can, get master trainer status. You really want to connect with the powers that be in technology, because you have technology that you need to implement in the library, so you don't want to be left out in terms of influencing what is happening. And you certainly want the skills to implement the technology. Look at the skills and the standards that need to be worked on by your students. So what does the data say? And if the data says something that the students need to learn how to, I don't know, how to make inferences, then you can maybe use an app that will program in some flip cards for them so that they can go and test themselves about the inferences. And also check out the free webinars that are offered and look at the specialized subject areas. Sometimes teachers, because you're a teacher, they might have some initiative that has to be done within the school for a particular school year. And if you can help them with it, then you're going to look amazing. So reasons to offer professional development. Well, you're building trust. And for school librarians, we don't like to think of it this way maybe, but we are in a public service field. So we have to be able to build relationships with our teachers and administrators. And the more you build those relationships with the teachers and administrators, the more opportunities you have to teach students. New teachers influence the culture within your school and help them think differently or think more about what a school librarian does. If you are a mentor and you're helping them with technology or whatever professional development they need, this will increase retention. Teachers that are not supported will not stay. Think of yourself as the information expert and engage in leadership. So school librarians need to be seen as leaders, not expendable people. Like I said before, the relationship with your principal should be really good. And the more you are making yourself someone that they feel they can't live without, the better off you're going to be. It will help you expand your network if you're doing professional development. And most importantly, you're going to be up to date. And up to date people are the people, or up to date educators are the ones that are putting out the best students. I like this quote. Education used to be simple. There was a blackboard, a teacher, and desk in a classroom. Today, a student can practice English online, upload homework through a portal, and learn chemistry through 3D immersion. Such is the rise of educational technologies. And the truth is, educational technology grows, it improves each year. There are so many things. So we have to be able to choose the best tools to communicate information for our students. Don't be on the back end of that. Stay forward thinking. You do not need to know everything, but you definitely need to know more than the average teacher in the school. I did my dissertation a long time ago about leadership for a program called Project Lead. And in this program, pre-service school librarians were actually studying about how to get national board certification, which emphasizes leadership. And these students got a scholarship for being in the program. But one thing I noticed when it came to the results is, in terms of leadership, one of the ways to get in to be seen as a leader was offering professional development and also being the go-to person for tech. So professional development, technology, they work very well together. If you want to get in the in crowd at the school, and we all know there's an in crowd at every school, you need to be there at the forefront of leadership, even if it's quiet leadership, just quiet, systematic leadership where you're consistently offering professional development, even if it's just once a week. You have to connect. So you can make your presentations easier because it's a lot of pressure to have to go about, doing all this professional development. So consider co-presenting with a friend so that you don't have to talk so long. Work with community members. There is a wealth of knowledge within our communities, but do make sure that you get appropriate background checks if you're going to bring them around your children. But work with your community members, and when they're presenting, you can do the introductions and the conclusions. And then you brought something to enhance your school community. I mean, let's face it, does one person know everything? I like to learn from other people and to hear them talk because there's not a time, even when I think that I know a particular topic, there's not a time that I don't go to a presentation and glean some technique or some resource or some different strategy for implementing something that I thought I knew all about. Consider doing shorter tutorials. 10 minutes would be wonderful. I don't know how many times I've gone to a professional development at school. It's late in the afternoon. I'm tired. I want to know why I have to sit there 2 or 3 hours. I start thinking about other things that I need to be doing. This happened to me all the time when I was in the school district. And it just kind of like after a long day, sometimes you just don't want to hear somebody talk with you like I'm doing right now for a whole hour. So 10 minutes is nice sometimes. You can do 10-minute increments if there's a lot that you really need to talk about. And people digest it better too. Consider doing online professional development as well. Remember, your students are a resource and they can offer professional development for you too. Make sure you practice because you don't want them saying some crazy stuff that you're not thinking that they're going to say, but just set some parameters and let your kids help out. They're an untapped resource and students love to hear other students speak. So let me give you an example. Like one of the schools that I was in, I noticed that there was a young man that was very popular in the school. And like one day the idea came about, this young man is very popular. You wouldn't exactly think of him as a nerdy type. He's a football player, but the kids really like him. So why don't I just go ahead and grab him and have him do this tutorial for me? And it went over wonderfully because all the kids wanted to hear. He had a lot of friends in the school. And then other kids were coming up to me and asking me, could they do tutorials too? So if you have those jocks and your cheerleaders, and I do believe that you should pull some of the kids that are not popular too, just get a great intersection of students and let them present because they're able to break down things sometimes better than we are, and they're more relatable sometimes to the kids. And for the teachers, it breaks up the monotony. Do I have any questions so far? I don't see anything in the chat right now. Okay, thank you. I'll move right along. So a couple of tutorial tips for you. I wrote about that too. And I placed the link in the chat. So I liked a script. As a matter of fact, you need a script. I'm not using a script today, but I've been thinking about this a lot. But if it's something that you're recording and you're a perfectionist, go ahead and get yourself a script and practice it. And sometimes you can set the screen off, another screen off in the background if you don't have a teleprompter. I don't know who has money for a teleprompter, but I don't. But I'll set another computer screen off in the background or either I will put, as you can see, like here, the chat box is on one side, and then I have my PowerPoint on this side. Sometimes I might put a script to the right so that I can look at it, but it still looks like I'm looking at the camera. Or I'll take it and I'll center it in the middle of the screen as well, right over the PowerPoint. That's very helpful. If you don't have a clicker, sometimes I take my laptop if I'm recording myself and I set it up high and prop it on a box. And then when I'm moving my arms and clicking, people cannot see that. Mistakes. Okay, so we're going to make mistakes. Sometimes we're going to stutter. And for me, sometimes my inclination is to be perfect. But then again, if you're not perfect, it adds to the authenticity. So you never want to sit around and like read script like you're reading it and be monotone. Today was a great day. It's not the way that you should present. You should have some enthusiasm and put some pictures in there. If at all possible, just put a picture there and no text. Challenge yourself to do that and see what happens. But allow yourself a mistake. One way that you can minimize mistakes if you're going to record your presentation and it's not live is to record in small segments. So PowerPoint is kind of cool now because you can record your face on top of the PowerPoint. And I just record slide by slide. I stop between slides. I use very small segments. I like using Novio, VoiceThread, and Adobe Presenter. Adobe Presenter is actually inside of my PowerPoint software. And what it does is it allows me to create presentations that are a bit more dynamic. I can actually film myself and do a presentation where the script is on the side and it scrolls as I talk. I can also export my script, export my presentations and add quizzes in them as a course if I so choose to, but that's a cute resource that you can use sometimes. It just takes a little bit to get used to, but that's something that is available on an educator's license if you have a little extra money left. Professionalism is so important. You don't want to record in the middle of clutter. So check your background, make sure that your walls are blank, or maybe use something like a bookcase. There's a new software that I am going to try out, and it's called XSplit. And this works for some people that have older computers. And what XSplit will do, just Google it. No, excuse me, XCam. What it will do is it will allow you to, it allows you to blur out your background so that other people can't see all your clutter. And then if you so choose, you can replace it with a picture or a video. One day I was sitting in a presentation and I noticed that one of the people that was participating had Chewbacca in the background and they looked like they were sitting beside him. And I thought, you know, I want Chewbacca to present with me. So I looked up some software and I saw that that software would give me those capabilities. A lot of people that do gaming use it. And I have a question for you. And I pasted this in earlier, but inquiring minds want to know. Miss Olson says she loves that you could put Chewbacca in the background. I know. I was like, I'm so jealous. Chewbacca should be here with me. So this Answer Garden, this is another tool that you can use just for like instantaneous results. Answer Garden. If you copy and paste this in, I had a quick question. What is your favorite Web 2.0 tool? Like, what's your go-to resource that you've been using lately? If you have any, no pressure. I'm going to go look and see what your answers are. Because right now, I'm going to talk about a couple of Web 2.0 tools. I'll give you about 2 more minutes. No, not 2 more minutes. I'll give you 30 seconds. We're swiftly running out of time. Okay, I like these. I like Symbaloo. It's another curation tool. Loom, I just noticed that Loom is available for recording screens. Padlet, yes, that's always easy. Google Suites. Google Suites are amazing because it can help kids do some of the translating too. And if you know how to use it right, it will help you with like citing your resources too. Flipgrid, just Google everything. Slides, docs, forms. Twitter, yes. Has anybody ever used Twitchucate? I'm thinking about trying that out. Miss McMillan says Screencastify and Google Slides. Are you all using Twitter with your K-12 students?
No.
Nobody? Nobody's brave? I think I might try out something with you all this semester, but later on. A safe way to use Twitter. Okay, 14 go-to tools. Well, one tool that I like to use that I discovered recently was my Okia Cam. So I really wanted a different webcam, but I'm not going to get it right now because I have to save. So I discovered the Okia Cam. And this is my Okia Cam. And you see my hand here. It comes folded up in this little box. Does anybody have an Okia Cam?
No.
Nobody? Well, I found for me that right now it was the most economical camera that I could get. I got it off of Amazon and it was like $69. But it's a USB cam. And the cute thing about it, like I said, it just like totally folded up in this little box. So now when I go do my presentations and I'm away, if I want to use a cam like this, all I have to do is just take this with me and it's easy to work with. And so it does a lot of things, like you could do snapshots, recording. If you want to teach your kids how to do like stop image movies, there's a better way to say that, but today I'm having a brain issue, right? It always happens when I present. But
Stop motion?
Yeah, stop motion. Thank you. If you want to teach them to do stop motion, it does that too. I like the fact that it's connected to my Google Drive, so I can record or take the picture and it just goes directly to it. So I found it very easy to work with. And so if you want a cheap cam, then this one might be good for you, but you do need to use a light. So it's not the Ladybug that I wanted, but it's very efficient and works well. Which leads me to another tool that you might want to try. By the way, I have to mention if you purchase that camera that it works with Chrome. And it'll also work inside of Zoom. But okay, so the next thing I want to show you is explain everything. And I'll show that to you using the camera. So on my iPad, I have an app. Oops, I can't show you my password. I have an app called Explain Everything. And has anybody used Explain Everything?
No, I haven't heard of it.
Okay, so really it's just a simple whiteboard, right? And you can make recordings on it, and you see all your tools here. It's not letting me scroll at the moment. Let's see. I'm like, no, don't do this to me. But it's a simple whiteboard app that you can use, and let me see, and you can record on it. So let me see if I can play this one. This is the clock app in my iPad. It is great for time management. As you can see, I use it all the time. Students can use the alarm inside of the app. They can also use the stopwatch. And the stopwatch is good if you're doing a presentation with people and you want one person to time their part and another person. So as you can see, it's like a little interactive whiteboard. I don't know if you can hear me well, but I recorded myself on it. I also, I wrote on it. And then you could take this video and you can create a web link for it. You can export it through your device and broadcast it. I haven't played around with broadcasting it, but it's just one of the most simple ways to sit down and do a tutorial really quick if you don't want anything fancy. Okay, so moving right along. I encourage you to try it. You get 3 for free. So you could just like keep doing them, but delete the one that you don't need anymore. So if you need an interactive whiteboard and you don't have the money for it, here's this app, and it's free. Free is nice. Another app, and it works in Chrome, is Screencastify. Much like Loom, you can do free recordings. If you use the free version of it, you're going to be able to record for 5 minutes, but the paid version is just $29 per year. And I'm not telling you how to spend your money. I'm just telling you what I use. So I usually use Screencastify if I have something that I need to do really quick and I don't want to spend forever on it. Then it ends up going directly into my Google Drive. I can publish it to YouTube if I want to, or download it. So it's just like, if you're doing that quick, easy recording, got to get it over with real quick, you know it's just 5 minutes, that's my go-to tool. Here's an example. Let's see. I think I have an example of it. Yes, this PlayPosit video. And I can show you, I'll talk a little bit more about PlayPosit shortly. So obviously I'm talking on this, but the one thing that I wanted to show you about PlayPosit was that it has questions built into it. So that was my example of using this video, Screencastify, to show a short video about PlayPosit. And so PlayPosit and Edpuzzle are great ways to embed questions into video, but then you have to think about the free versus paid issue. PlayPosit has some free basic things that you can do with it, but Edpuzzle is just plain old free. So I encourage you to check out PlayPosit and Edpuzzle if you want to create videos that embed questions in them. That can be helpful if you give students like a long video to watch and you just want to break it up a bit, or if you make a tutorial and you want to know if they actually learned anything. Now, my go-to screen recording resource that I use is Screencast-O-Matic, and you can get 15 minutes out of it for free. And it also transcribes some text for you. So they have a button for that if you get the paid version, and I'll tell you about that in a moment. You can download your video as well, send it to YouTube, but the paid version, I actually pay for it because I don't think it's bad. It's $36 for 3 years, and I can edit my videos. I get video hosting. Here's an example of a video that I made with Screencast-O-Matic. And I'm going to stop my share because I think you need to hear the computer audio. Or should I say, I'll do a new share. And maybe you'll hear the computer audio. But I like this because I can sometimes, can you all still hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Before I play this video. Sometimes I don't want to talk on my videos, and what I need to do is just type something at the top really quick so other people can see it. If I want to point out stuff to them, I can use this arrow. You see the circle here. Or another thing is that I can edit my videos if I don't want something to be in there. Or sometimes you'll be doing a video and you notice there's a picture of a student or something in there you don't want people to see. You can use it to blur it out. So I think it's well worth the money. And since I've talked about all these features and I need to finish shortly so that I don't run over your time, I'm going to skip playing this video. Okay. Excuse me for just a moment. I'm a huge fan of Padlet because I can use Padlets to export them. So I think they're dynamic. If we want to sit together and edit a Padlet and curate information, we can do that. You can do screen recordings with Padlets. So if you want to add your screen recording into the Padlet, it's helpful to people to be able to go there so you can create a whole lesson, as you know. You can password protect it, make it private. There's a limited number of free boards, but you'll be fine if you recycle them. I also like Adobe Spark and Sway. I use Sway the most, but both platforms are quite efficient. Like this is a Screencast-O-Matic tutorial that someone made in one of my classes, and she's put in videos within the tutorial, and so it's very neat and linear. And here's Sway. Our school uses those sometimes if we want to put out a newsletter, so you can put video in these as well. So I usually just like upload a PowerPoint or something for those purposes. Bitmoji. Who has a Bitmoji?
I do.
Yes, I like.
I do too.
Yeah, I like all the quick, like the cute pictures that you can make. So the Bitmoji app just has a lot of pictures in it. You create something that looks similar to yourself. And then it has like different pictures for different contexts. And so if you want to say something with pictures, Bitmojis are great for that. So try that app out on your iPad or your Android. YouTube is often overlooked. Yes, you can share for free. You can have unlisted links. You can have your own channel. You can do video editing in YouTube, and it also auto transcribes, which I like. So for people that don't have access to, say, Zoom and auto transcribing, and you want to observe the universal for design learning principles, then you can use YouTube to present your information in a audio-visual way, and then have the transcript. So you would go into the YouTube studio that they offer and develop your video and just turn it on. It usually auto transcribes, but you can edit it yourself. So you can upload all the text or edit it yourself. But do make sure that you listen to it to get all the crux out of it. Another good thing about YouTube is the fact that you have music in YouTube. So if you want to make a great dynamic video, but you don't want to steal music, then use their music for free. It's there for you. Also, I forgot to tell you, in the studio for YouTube, you can put like links to your presentations and also like do subheadings and such. So if you don't have a Mac, then you can use YouTube Studio to help you. And if you need the script, like say you share a video with someone and you need the script from it, go to YouTube and then just click these buttons over here, and then you'll see something like report and open script. And then you open the script and you'll see it right there. So maybe some of your students need to listen to the script instead of like watching the video, or just some people learn better by reading. So that's how you get the script out of YouTube. We use some of these tools in my classes. VoiceThread and Flipgrid I love for asynchronous discussions, but you could also use them for tutorials. For example, both of them, you could put the video up about what you need to discuss, and then for VoiceThread, people can ask you questions around each portion of the video that you put up. So you're having a conversation in the cloud, and you don't have to have it at the same time. People can ask you questions, you can go back and respond. And when your professional development is all over, you can download the video and give it to them. So it becomes a question and answer session afterwards. For Flipgrid, you could also post a tutorial on Flipgrid and then invite questions and respond to people that way. So that's a great way to use it for tutorials. So it's a little different than what we might normally do, but it's possible, right, to have those asynchronous discussions and answer questions. And teachers will like that, because drop-in opportunities, even if you were face-to-face and you needed to do a drop-in opportunity in the library, say during lunchtime, just drop in and learn about this particular topic. It would truly make it easier for them to be able to do that. So now they can drop in on an asynchronous discussion in the cloud. Now, I would like to say, when you're doing these tutorials as a school librarian, make sure that you work in some assessment. So do pre and post tests. Use like SurveyMonkey, Qualtrics, Google Forms, Padlet, Edpuzzle, Poll Everywhere. Have them make a Twitter post. Socrates, Answer Garden, which we just tried out together. Flipgrid, a whiteboard sticky note or something. and Nearpod. I really like Nearpod. So it's free if you present synchronously, but if you want to chip in the money, or you can write a grant to get Nearpod, which is a way of presenting your presentations online and building in interactivity with questions and such. If the free version, you have to do it synchronously, but the asynchronous version, which I think is worth it, and I have it, I just need to work more with offering stuff on it. It is a little pricey for some folk, but like write a grant for it. So you can build in questions there and kind of use it like Edpuzzle or PlayPosit. This concludes my presentation. I would like to thank you all for attending. Our next presentation will be on October 21st. Dr. Sarah Evans will be presenting, and the title of the presentation is Manga Literacy, Getting More from Japanese Comic Culture. I hope that you will be able to attend, and we are glad that you joined this session with the Multiple Literacies Lab. Thank you.